Welcome to the finale of the Assassin's Creed timeline in Part 8, Looking to the Past. In Part 7, we explored the late 19th, early 20th century, a world covered in war and conflict as the Templars searched for Isu artifacts in India, and the English Fry twins liberated the Templar stronghold of London, cutting off the head of their most powerful source of influence. And as the Russian Revolution began, Nikolai Orlov betrayed the Brotherhood to protect the innocent Princess Anastasia and escaped to America with his family, ending with two major world wars breaking out and the Templars hiding behind the new identity of Abstergo Industries. As the Second World War came to its conclusion, with the Empire of Japan surrendering to the United States, Abstergo Industries carefully watched the world recover and used all of its resources as a legitimate company to shape the future of world governments as it saw fit. The assassins eventually learned that the Templars were now behind the face of a public corporation, filled with innocent workers unaware of any Templar plots, making it harder to strike at them effectively. The Templars were now hiding within the shadows of the people, just like the assassins had been for centuries. They worked behind the scenes to overthrow different governments, placing Templar-selected leaders in power, and worked to control the world's oil, becoming one of the richest companies in history. At the same time, they continued their goal of collecting pieces of Eden, assassinating influential individuals that had stumbled upon apples of the first civilization. Those assassinated by Abstergo included Mahatma Gandhi, who would use the apple's power to influence crowds to peacefully protest against the British rule of India, and the United States President John F. Kennedy, who fought for civil liberties, had an apple of Eden passed down to him. Abstergo even went as far as funding the government agency NASA, which eventually carried out a mission to the Earth's moon and located an apple of Eden that had made its way to the surface, after the Isu had launched several of them into space. But in the year 1977, an assassin named William Miles infiltrated an Abstergo research facility and discovered plans that would change the conflict forever. He was rescued from capture by a member of the Russian Brotherhood and gave them the blueprints, telling them to build whatever this device was so they can understand it. A device known as Project Animus. Abstergo had made a huge discovery while researching genetics. Human memory was passed down in a literal way through DNA. A lifetime of experiences were passed down in the womb from parent to child, making every human being on Earth an archive of ongoing history. The Animus was a machine that could decode the memories found in DNA and display them in 3 dimensions, allowing users to relive the lives of their distant ancestors and onlookers to view the past as it actually happened. But this new technology presented a huge danger known as the bleeding effect. When connected to the Animus, the human mind would often subconsciously attempt to withdraw, not understanding the memories belong to another person. In minor cases, the user may start hallucinating, experiencing their ancestors' memories in their daily lives, and absorbing some of their traits into their own being. In more extreme cases, leaving someone connected for too long could cause them to become psychotic, losing their identity as their own memories and memories from multiple ancestors mesh together. Regardless of the dangers present, Abstergo ordered one of their scientists, Dr. Warren Vidic, to begin the project in 1980, and they focused on tracking down and capturing subjects with assassin and Templar ancestry to locate pieces of Eden their ancestors may have come across. Multiple subjects were captured and forced into the Animus, usually losing their minds and being discarded by the company. In 1983, a 10-year-old boy named Daniel Cross was taken by Abstergo after they realized he was the great-grandson of the Russian assassin Nikolai Orlov, and forced into the Animus. He was known as Subject 4. Dr. Vidic implanted his memories with a secret order to kill any assassin mentors he came across. After experimenting with his genetic memories, Abstergo threw him into the street, leaving the boy confused and speaking in Russian after experiencing the memories of Nikolai. Daniel grew up as a petty criminal and constantly suffered vivid hallucinations of his great-grandfather due to the permanent damage to his mind from the Animus's bleeding effect, often mistaking himself as the assassin. By 1998, he had been in and out of jail and addicted to drugs and alcohol to deal with his problems. During one of his episodes, he attacked an innocent man, hallucinating that he was a Templar, and he was stopped by an actual assassin named Hannah, who had seen what happened and believed that he was an assassin also. The assassins now operated from several camps spread across the globe and under the command of one man known as the Mentor, versus having multiple branches with multiple mentors. Hannah took Daniel to one of their camps near Philadelphia so they could identify him, and after the assassins learned that his great-grandfather was one of the assassins present during the Tunguska explosion, they questioned Daniel about his identity, triggering Nikolai's memories of the event and sending Daniel into a frenzy, attempting to escape as he collapsed on the ground. For the next 2 years, he spent his time with the Assassins, visiting different camps, and driven by a need to find the mentor, unaware that Dr. Vidic had implanted this need in his head as a child. In the year 2000, he was finally able to meet the mentor of the Assassin Brotherhood in Dubai. The mentor revealed that he had kept a close eye on Daniel and felt that the young man would be a unique asset to the Order, giving him his own hidden blade, which was more of a ceremonial item in these modern times. At that moment, something triggered inside Daniel's mind, and he struck at the mentor of the Order, killing him. He immediately regretted his actions, but had no control over them, and panicked, jumping out the window. Remembering that he had once been at Abstergo, he felt this was the only place left to go, and he traveled back to the corporation that had turned him unwillingly into a Templar sleeper agent. When he returned, Daniel was allowed back into the Animus, which had a calming effect on him, being able to re-experience the memories that he had been hallucinating with his entire life. And during his time in the Animus, Abstergo was able to extract more recent memories from him, revealing the location of every assassin camp that he had been to. This information allowed the Templars to enact the Great Purge, in which they sent multiple strike teams to all the camps to eradicate the entire Brotherhood in one swift strike, resulting in the deaths of nearly all of the assassins, including their children. The operation was a massive victory for the Templar Order, and the assassins were never able to recover. Daniel hadn't visited every single camp, so some camps did survive, and the assassins were forced to change their ways again, beginning to operate in small cells, constantly communicating with each other. Over time, Daniel willingly joined the ranks of the Templars, becoming one of their greatest weapons, and entrusted with the rank of Master Templar. In the year 2003, the 16-year-old son of William Miles, a boy being raised in an assassin community in South Dakota, ran away, not wanting to accept the role of an assassin that his family had chosen for him, and he would eventually become the most important person in the Brotherhood's history and possibly mankind's. In 2005, an assassin named Lucy Stillman infiltrated Abstergo after being contacted by Dr. Vidic, who had an interest in her studies on neuroscience. Over time, she started to believe that the tactics of the assassins were inhumane and joined the Templar Order, secretly feeding information to the assassins in an effort to make them believe that she was still one of them. In the year 2011, another assassin named Clay Kazmarek was captured by the Templars after they discovered his rich assassin lineage, and he became Subject 16 of the Animus Project. In the Animus, he was forced to experience the memories of his ancestor, Ezio Auditore, for dangerously long periods of time. The assassins had originally planned for Lucy to let Clay escape from the facility, but with her loyalty really belonging to the Templar Order and full of guilt, she knew she couldn't allow Clay to leave. And the genetic memory experiments continued. Knowing that it was only a matter of time before he was killed, Clay decided to take matters into his own hands and planned to commit suicide, but not before planning to leave a message for a future subject from the assassins. At night, he worked on hacking the Animus and successfully managed to build an AI construct of his own personality and consciousness within the Animus software, and later slit his wrists, leaving cryptic messages on the walls of his room behind as he died. After his death, Abstergo dumped his body in a river and began the search for another person with the genetic memories of Ezio within them. In the year 2012, Desmond Miles, the assassin that ran away from his camp, was working as a bartender trying to forget his old life, but Abstergo had tracked his lineage and realized his DNA held massive secrets from the past, and a Templar strike team kidnapped him and brought him to the Templar facility in Italy, strapping him into the Animus and forcing him to re-experience the lives of his ancestor, the legendary assassin Altair.
You okay?
I told you he'd be fine.
You bastards!
Now, I just saved your life.
Saved my life? You kidnapped me. You strapped me into that thing. I don't even know you people. Why are you doing this to me?
You have information we need, Mr. Miles.
Information? I'm a bartender, for Christ's sakes. What do you want me to do? Teach you how to mix a martini?
We know who you are, what you are. You're an assassin. And whether you realize it or not, you've got something that my employers want. Locked away in that head of yours.
During his breaks from the Animus, he spent time with Lucy, gathering more information about his situation, and realizing that Abstergo was searching through the memories of Altair to find the location of more Apples of Eden. The assassins eventually found out that Desmond was being held by them and attacked the facility, but ultimately failed in rescuing him.
What's the situation down there?
We're taking heavy fire.
Can you contain it? Or do I need to evacuate the prisoner?
only 5 or 6. We've got them outnumbered. Couple of wounded, but we'll pull through. We'll get it under control.
God damn you, Desmond. You couldn't leave well enough alone.
I told you I had nothing to do with this. How would I even contact them? Telepathy? Come on!
After the attack, Lucy told Desmond to be patient and work with them for now, revealing that she was an assassin, or so claimed to be one. The Templars were planning on launching a satellite into space and had the idea of using an Apple of Eden to broadcast a signal from space to control the entire population of the world. With no apples currently under their control, they knew the memories inside Desmond were their best chance to find one. And Desmond continued experiencing the life of Altair and witnessed the assassin take command of the Brotherhood and encounter the secrets of Al-Mualim's Apple of Eden. This gave the Templars exactly what they needed, and they saw the sites located on the map of the globe and decided to get rid of Desmond. But Lucy convinced them to spare his life, and they left to find the artifacts, as Desmond, starting to experience the bleeding effect, could suddenly use the sixth sense of his ancestor.
What the hell is that? Oh my God. Looks like... Is that blood? The hell were they keeping here before me? What happened to him?
And back in his room, he discovered the cryptic messages of Subject 16. The next day, Lucy, in a rushed panic, ordered Desmond to get into the Animus as she connected him to another one of his ancestors from the time of Renaissance Italy, Ezio Auditore.
I promise I'll answer all of your questions later. But right now, I need you to just shut up and do what I say. So please, get in the Animus.
All right.
Listen to him. Fine set of lungs.
What shall we call it, my love?
Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
Get up. Let's go.
Lucy copied the information to a hard drive and staged an escape from the facility with Desmond. Throwing him into a car trunk, Lucy took him to the assassin's hideout in Rome, where he met two other assassins, Sean Hastings and Rebecca Crane. After experimenting with the Animus blueprints, the assassins had developed an Animus 2.0, a more portable and less dangerous version of the Animus. The assassins planned to connect Desmond to Ezio in an effort to learn everything he did and take on the skills that he spent a lifetime learning, but they found much more than they expected, as Subject 16 had left clues inside the Animus for Desmond to find, revealing the rebellion of Adam and Eve. Desmond found himself taking frequent breaks as the team realized that it was beginning to affect him, showing him images in his dreams from past memories.
Sorry to barge in on you like this, but it's getting late and we were... Hey, you okay?
Yeah, all good. Weird dreams, that's all.
Alright. I'll let you get ready.
Ah, good of you to join us.
Sorry, long night.
What a professional approach.
Leave him alone.
Well, you'll forgive me if I want to get some actual work done. Madness, isn't it?
Sean, please, that's enough.
All right.
The assassins were becoming more desperate as time was running out, and the Templars were tracking down more cells daily. Back in the Animus, Desmond experienced Ezio's encounter with Minerva and was shocked to hear his name mentioned hundreds of years before, as Minerva had left him a message through time. A message instructing him to find the other temples they had built, and a warning about the coming apocalypse. For centuries, the Templars and assassins had wasted their time being at war with each other, struggling for control of the pieces of Eden, and just like the Isu before them, they were distracted by war, and nobody was watching the skies. The sun was preparing to eject the solar flare that the Isu knew would return, and would be another extinction-level event, now only a few months away from happening.
The message is delivered.
We are gone now from this world. All of us. We can do no more. The rest is up to you, Desmond.
What? Who is Desmond? I don't understand. Please, wait. I have so many questions.
What the fuck?
The Templars eventually found the assassin hideout, and the team had to evacuate quickly to the last assassin safe house left in Italy and the villa where Ezio lived with his family. Setting up the Animus here, Desmond continued the memories of Ezio and saw him hide his Apple of Eden under the secret Isu vault under the Roman Colosseum. Desmond and his team traveled to the Colosseum and found the secret entrance, finding the Apple of Eden intact. As Desmond claimed the apple, Juno appeared before him, communicating through the Grand Temple and attempting to control him. Juno knew that Lucy was secretly a Templar and couldn't afford to have her take the apple.
What's happening? I can't move. What are you doing?
The path must be opened. Cease your struggle.
Desmond will lead you to the apple, and then you bring it right to us.
No!
We're counting on you, Lucy. You have served the Templar Order well, and we never forget loyalty.
It is done. The way lies all before you. Only she remains to be found. Awaken the sixth. Go, alone!
The shock of the event forced Desmond into a coma, and he was plugged back into the Animus, with his consciousness being awakened inside by the AI construct that Subject 16 had left inside.
Just walk right past me. 16? No, they didn't tell you my name.
God damn it, I'm still in the Animus?
What a shock you suffered out there. Your mind, it's broken.
I feel fine.
So did I. Look at me now. Let's talk, buddy.
He found himself stuck inside the original program of the Animus, suffering from the guilt of having killed Lucy, and Subject 16 told Desmond he had to finish reliving the memories of Ezio, in order for the Animus to separate his own memories from Ezio's, which would allow him to escape with his mind intact. Desmond experienced Altair's final days in Ezio's journey to Masyaf as the assassin had fulfilled his duty, delivering the message that was meant for Desmond. The Isu Jupiter showed Desmond the tragedy that had befallen the first civilization and the location of the Grand Temple in New York that Connor had protected, the place where the Isu had congregated to find a solution for the apocalypse, and Juno's prison. As the memories of Ezio were finished, the Animus software began to collapse, and Desmond had to find a way back into his body, waking up to find Sean, Rebecca, and his father, William Miles, waiting for him to recover.
What is that? What's going on?
This is the end, Desmond. Scheduled for deletion.
What are you doing?
What is a man but the sum of his memories? We are the stories we live, the tales we tell ourselves.
Don't do this.
I'm saving you, idiot! Go! Go!
Something's happening. He's moving.
Desmond, can you hear me? Son?
I know what we need to do.
The group traveled to New York and found the secret entrance to the Grand Temple, using the Apple of Eden to open the door. The same door that Haytham Kenway had tried to open with his own artifact in the past. Thousands of years of assassin struggles and cryptic messages from those who came before had led to this very moment. Within the Grand Temple, there was one door that was kept locked away, and the amulet that Connor had hidden was the ultimate key needed to deactivate the door's security measures. A power source was also needed to open the way. And as the assassins searched for Isu power sources they believed that Templars had in their possession, Desmond used the Animus to search through the memories of Haytham Kenway and his son Connor.
The key must be the amulet Haytham took from London.
We might know what it looks like, but we're no closer to finding it. Desmond, you need to keep going.
Hey, he's your ancestor too. Why don't you hop in the Animus?
What is wrong with you, Desmond?
You want to know what's wrong? I'm sick of being treated like I'm not even here. Desmond, do this. Desmond, do that. Desmond, you better figure things out because the sun is going to turn us all to ash. I'm sick of being a goddamn pawn. I thought it might be different with you. I mean, you're my father, but it turns out you're no better than the fucking Templars.
Don't you ever equate me to those bastards again. Maybe I pushed a little too hard, asked a little too much. But try and remember exactly what's at stake here. We're running out of time.
Right, that was unusual. Well, I'm just going to pretend that this never happened and get back to bringing everyone up to speed on where we stand.
During his frequent breaks, Juno appeared to Desmond, revealing everything the Isu had done to try to survive the solar flare, all the plans they had put in place, the death of her husband Aita, and the desperate final days they lived through before the end.
Tired of it. The cryptic warnings, the threats. Just tell us what you want!
But they are. We seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we look the same to them. Imagine trying to explain all this to a 2-year-old, to a grasshopper. When they said the will of the gods was unknowable, they meant it. Literally.
I killed her, you know. I killed Lucy.
It was the apple, son. It was Juno.
I saw what she was. What would happen if I let her live? I could have stopped myself. I mean, there was a force there. But I didn't have to. I chose to.
Desmond.
Lucy was going to betray us and take the apple back to Abstergo. I saw the satellite launched. I saw them turn it on, and then it failed. Whatever's on the other side of that door, it benefits Juno. We need to be careful.
Eventually, the assassins tracked down where the Templars were keeping a power source, and Desmond set out to retrieve it. Using the skills he had absorbed from the time he had spent with his ancestors, he broke into the Abstergo offices and took it, coming into contact with Daniel Cross, the assassin turned Templar, who was ultimately responsible for the assassin purge.
Look, I'm not supposed to kill you, but the boss man didn't say anything about fucking you up. So you got to the counter.
More pathways opened, but more power sources were still needed to open the final door of the Grand Temple, and the second one was tracked down to Brazil, where Daniel Cross had already taken it, and Desmond ran after him. After spending more time in the temple, the group started becoming suspicious of Juno and why she was so willing to help them.
I'm telling you, there's something down here.
Don't be daft.
I don't know, maybe they were sleeping or something and we woke them. Some kind of cryogenics? Or hibernation? I mean, how do we know what the hell they were doing down here?
They were working on a bunch of different solutions, but nothing worked. Just went from one to the next, and then... I don't know. They must have left at some point. After the end.
While Desmond was back in Connor's memories, his father had tracked down the third and final power source in Egypt, but was kidnapped by a Templar strike team called Sigma Team, led by a man named Otso Berg, a Templar agent exceptionally well trained and known to be an assassin hunter. Knowing it was a trap to draw them out, Desmond set out to find his father, finding himself in a final confrontation with Daniel.
Give me the apple. Let's not draw this out. You got nowhere to go, and I've got a gun. Not now!
Niña, esto es robota! Нет! Get out! Get out! Get out!
The Templars found themselves at a disadvantage, unaware that Desmond had control of the Apple of Eden.
Now give me the apple.
You want it? Fine. Here it is.
Wait! No!
You never should have come here. You put everything on the line. For what? So you could rescue your father?
Yeah.
After the death of Daniel Cross and the lead scientist of the Animus project, Abstergo was forced to cancel their plans of launching the satellite they were planning to use to control the world. Desmond hooked up the third power source and learned from Connor that he had taken the amulet and hidden it in the grave of Achilles' son Connor Davenport in the Davenport homestead, and they set out to retrieve the final piece needed. After spending months in the Grand Temple, the final piece needed to open the Grand Temple doors was used, as the solar flare prepared to hit the Earth that very day.
Eyewitnesses describe electrical storms and erratic displays of unusual weather. Residents are being asked to remain inside and wait for geological surveys are now reporting seismic activity throughout the Ring of Fire. Northeastern Canada is said to be experiencing the largest on record. Satellites and transformers are failing as the flare increases in intensity. Worldwide reports of blackouts seems to be receding. Residual seismic and volcanic activity is being reported.
And the way to save the Earth, or to doom it, was revealed.
Your touch. A spark. A spark to save the world.
Wait! Do not touch the pedestal.
Minerva?
You!
Juno dwells within these walls, awaiting release. There is a pattern to existence. To comprehend the calculations is to tame time. This was my focus. And so I built the eye to aid us. But she turned it towards her own ends. When we discovered her treachery, we put a stop to it. I had hoped you might find this place and finish our work. But it is too late. You and the Templars have squabbled over our refuse. You have wasted centuries. And so you have lost your chance. You cannot hope to stop the end now, Desmond. Only to survive.
She's lying! If you heed Minerva, the sun will have its way. The ground will crack and spit fire into the skies. All the world will burn. But this does not end the world, merely heralds its arrival. Darkness follows. Then you emerge, resolving to lay a foundation that such a tragedy does not befall the world again. You will become a symbol to those who survive. Hope, knowledge, determination. You will inspire them to rebuild, to thrive once more. And as the world heals, so too will humanity. But you are just a man, frail and mortal. You pass from the world, leaving behind only a memory. A legacy. You will be remembered first as a hero, later as a legend, and in time as a god. It is the cruelest fate to have written words that meant well and see them made wicked and unwise. What was meant to encourage life, used instead to justify taking it. And so now you see that what was shall be again.
You must not do this.
Whatever Juno's planning, however terrible it might seem today, we'll find a way to stop it. But the alternative, what you want, there's no hope there.
Desmond now understood the dangers of releasing Juno, and learned that the machine Minerva had created to shield the planet from the flare would take his life if he used it. But allowing the world to burn and letting billions of innocent people die was not an option he would consider, and the young assassin decided to fulfill hundreds of years of destiny and save the world.
Son, you know it's true. It's already started. I need to do this now. So go. Go!
This will be a short one, Dad. Something to remember me by if things go south. If I don't make it out of the temple today. I think spending all this time in Connor's memories has made me anxious. I mean, his story is so painful in so many ways. Still, he never lost hope. Whatever's inside that temple is not an ending. It's just another chapter in this endless story. And it'll be your job, and Mom's, and Sean's, and Rebecca's, to keep turning the pages. If something goes wrong in there, Dad, something happens to me, when you tell my story years from now, please, tell them the one about how I lost my way, and then I found it again, just in time to save the world, and just end it there. Goodbye, Dad. Say hello to Mom. Tell her I love her, okay? Tell her I love you both. I love you both.
Desmond had saved the entire planet, but the conflict was far from over. Juno's consciousness was now freed from the temple after being locked away for thousands of years, and she entered the world's digital networks, beginning to search for a way to take physical form again, to subjugate mankind to her rule. In 15 hours after the death of Desmond, an Abstergo recovery unit tracked down the location of the Grand Temple, where they found Desmond's body and recovered it, taking DNA samples and some of his organs for preservation. And using his DNA, they uploaded the information they discovered to their data cloud and named the data Sample 17. Abstergo had figured out how to read memories without needing a human subject connected to the Animus. DNA could now be uploaded directly to the Animus program, and memories could now be experienced by anybody without the dangerous side effects of the original machine. Deciding to get the unknowing public's help in finding Isu artifacts and searching through memories, Abstergo created another branch of their company known as Abstergo Entertainment, under the guise of being a multimedia company releasing products such as video game consoles. Developing the Animus Omega console, they allowed consumers to access preloaded DNA memories and heavily censored portions that mentioned Templars and First Civilization artifacts, but they monitored all footage, secretly gathering information on what players discovered within these real-life memories. In the year 2013, an Abstergo Entertainment research analyst was assigned to a sample of Desmond's DNA and found himself looking through the memories of the pirate Edward Kenway, another ancestor of Desmond. The analyst was also introduced to several employees, including the CEO of Abstergo Entertainment, Olivier Garneau, who later had traveled to Chicago for a shareholders meeting, but he never made it to that meeting, going missing. At least that was the public story. In reality, he was hunted down and killed by a vigilante hacker called Aiden Pierce, not affiliated with the Assassins, but had access to the city's Templar-supported CTOS surveillance system, and saw that Olivier was a target of the Assassin Brotherhood. As the Abstergo research analyst experienced Edward Kenway's search for the Isu Observatory in Jamaica, they were sent to different workstations around the facility in order to hack into them, being blackmailed by an employee of the IT department, John Standish. Standish was actually another sage, remembering his past life as Aita, and looking for a way to free Juno properly. Standish knew that Juno was looking for a body to inhabit and needed to be freed from the world's digital network, and attempted to use the employee as a vessel for Juno.
Signal is still too weak, and I am spread thin. Unfocused. Like static and fog, my strength is not sufficient to inhabit an organic vessel. There is more work to do, more samples to acquire, more artifacts to find before my will can obtain.
You saw my beloved Juno, and for a brief moment, I thought she might occupy this tender body of yours. One of a race of beautiful, wonderful creatures. They created your kind. Did you know that? Your people were tools to them. That's all you have ever been. That's all you should ever be. It was her wish that I be here to greet her. It was her experiment that made it possible for my rebirth as one of these things.
Stay down! Get down on your back! Now! He's got a gun!
Guide me into the grave, beloved! I am your instrument!
Put the gun down! Drop it! Drop your weapon!
Eventually, Abstergo discovered that Standish had been hacking computers all over the place, and took action, ending the threat of this sage. The research worker was rescued and went back to work, also meeting Rebecca and Sean, who were posing as workers coming in and out of Abstergo Entertainment, and were originally gathering information from John Standish, not knowing his real intentions. They convinced the worker to help the assassins on the side and feed them information, having seen Templar intentions via Edward's memories. The body of John Standish was discovered to contain a huge concentration of Isu DNA, and realizing that he was a sage, the body was taken to a Templar lab in Paris to be experimented on by a scientist named Alvaroi Grammatica. Dr. Grammatica was trying to map the Isu's triple helix genome completely to one day be able to create an Isu from scratch in his cloning experiments, but needed more Isu DNA samples to complete his project, which came to be known as Project Phoenix. Abstergo became obsessed with searching for sages throughout history in order to complete the project, but the assassins discovered their plans and sent a team in to destroy the lab, blowing it up and resulting in the destruction of the sage's body and a Shroud of Eden, causing the Templars to have a major setback. And in the year 2014, the Templar agent Otso Berg found Edward Kenway's observatory, but found the structure completely collapsed, deliberately buried by the assassins back in the 18th century. Later on, another Abstergo Entertainment analyst worked through the memories of Shay Patrick Cormac, seeing his betrayal of the Brotherhood and the tragedies the colonial assassins caused in Haiti and Portugal, convincing the analyst to join the Templar Order. Abstergo used the footage of Shay's memories and released it to the assassins, causing a huge drop in morale. Many assassins left the Order, seeing the horror that the Brotherhood had caused long ago, and dismayed that someone could turn on them so drastically. But the Templar and Assassin War would soon start becoming more and more public, as several outside groups began realizing that the products released to the public by Abstergo were heavily edited versions of history, and hid major secrets. The hacker collective, known as the Initiates, worked online to uncover illicit information on both the Templars and the Assassins, eventually allying themselves with the Assassins to help them in their searches throughout history. Another hacking group known as Erudito worked exclusively against Abstergo Industries, attempting to uncover its true goals. In that same year, the Assassins found out that Abstergo was searching for a sage that may have been encountered by an assassin during the French Revolution, and the Assassin Bishop assigned the Initiates to look through the memories taken from Abstergo servers to find the sage's body before the Templars could. And one Initiate successfully went through the memories of French assassin Arnaud Dorian. sage he encountered was buried in the French catacombs, ensuring that the Templars would never be able to tell him apart from the rest of the remains inside. The final hope of the Templars to resurrect the Isu would be a Shroud of Eden. In the year 2015, the initiates discovered that the English assassin twins Jacob and Edie Fry had discovered a shroud in a vault under Buckingham Palace, and both factions raced to recover the shroud.
Contact!
Cover me! That skinny piece of shit tried to murder me, Berg. I want him to bleed.
Dreams that poisoned us, them that told us lies of their bravery, them that preached of progress and put us in the poorhouse, them done the horrid murder on bloody stages, that loudly corroded their humility, lords and dames that the chapels on a song. All quiet now, their mouths are stopped up.
Hold still, goddammit!
Flung in racks and make no sound. Underground.
Only the mission matters!
Understood!
Those who fought for something better, those who fought by how they live, loved ones taken long before their word was underground.
Galena, we need an exit!
Kill them all! Our targets are righteous!
We need to go! Now!
Understood. Shroud!
Forget the bloody shroud! Stay with me, Bex. Please!
We go.
Abstergo had successfully taken the shroud and delivered it to Grammatica's new lab in order to continue the Phoenix Project. But all of this was according to a secret plan set in motion by Juno herself and the Templar Violet da Costa, who had secretly been working with her, a member of the Instruments of the First Will, the Isu-worshipping cult devoted to restoring the ancient race to their place of power.
Brought the shroud as you asked, but I'm scared.
Do not fear me. You've done well.
I'm not scared of you, I'm scared for you. Anyone finds out what you've been doing.
You have played your part, my instrument. I will save you. I will save you all.
The Templars continued to search through assassin genetic memories, having captured a man named Callum Lynch in 2016, who was a descendant of the Spanish assassin Aguilar. Lynch later escaped, joining the Brotherhood and killing the Grand Master of the Templar Order, Alan Rickon, sending the leadership of the Templars into chaos, as his daughter Sophia took his place and began ruling the Order ruthlessly. The assassins worked to rebuild their numbers by recruiting more to their cause, in the physical world and digital. By 2018, a former employee of Abstergo, Layla Hassan, had developed a portable version of the Animus and used it to discover the tombs of Bayek of Siwa and his wife Aya in Egypt, experiencing the very beginnings of the Assassin Templar conflict. After losing her best friend to Abstergo agents attempting to find her, Layla was forced to fight back. Then she met William Miles, now the mentor of the worldwide assassins, trying to recruit her.
Who the fuck are you?
Does the name William Miles ring a bell?
The assassin?
Then you know who I am. We, the assassins, have been watching you. You can come with me, or you can stay here and do the dance of death again and again until you make a mistake. There's no going back to your old life, Layla.
Fine. Let's do this. That doesn't mean I'm on your side.
Good enough.
And this currently brings the complete Assassin's Creed timeline to a close. The future plans of Juno remain mysterious, as the Assassins and Templars continue to work against each other, and the mysterious Instruments of the First Will secretly gather to worship their goddess, having also discovered that Desmond Miles had a son, who also happens to be a sage full of Isu DNA. Whatever the future holds, there will always be a secret brotherhood that has risen from the ashes of defeat time and time again to fight for the freedom of mankind, whether the enemy is a secret order attempting to control the world or a powerful goddess from the past. If you enjoyed this series, leave me a big like down below, and don't forget to subscribe and follow me on social media. This is Fabian. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.